Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Whatnauts Reactor Corps. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined, as always, by Melissa Wilkinson.
It's me. Hello.
Hello, indeed. Melissa, we are here to talk about episode 1 of Loki.
Yes.
How excited were you for this show going into it?
Very excited. I think a time travel story is a lot of fun. I love cosmic bureaucracy. I was so excited that a lot of the show took place in a 1970s office building.
Melissa Wilkinson, fan of cosmic bureaucracy.
That's the goal. This is where I would fit in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm a TVA desk job worker.
You're someone who has the Infinity Stone paperweight. That's right there. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm super excited about this show, or I was. It's now here. We've seen the first one. You guys know me. I love time travel stuff. That is my bread and butter. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into our reactions to episode 1 of Loki, which I don't know how many we're actually supposed to be getting. I don't think there's an official count.
I think 6. I've heard 6.
That's what I'm thinking too, but there hasn't been it is definitively, there will only be 6. But I'm assuming that's about how much, since that's what we got for Falcon and Winter Soldier here.
Yeah.
But Melissa, what did you think of this episode, this debut of Loki?
It was very promising. It wasn't as adventurous as we thought it might be. Loki pretty much gets transported to this building and stays in the building, which, as I said, is fine by me. I just want him to be in an office. But emotionally, It went to so many places. I loved Loki fast forwarding through the one we've known, the one he is a variant off of, the guy who died at the beginning of Infinity War. He watches his life and realizes that he set out with this glorious purpose, and it didn't amount to very much except for his dad and his brother liking him a bit more at the end.
Yep, indeed. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I think I've said it with each of the shows that we've gotten so far. Like, oh no, I think this one is my favorite. No, I think this one is my favorite. I think this one is my favorite. I don't know. I mean, I guess we don't really know where the show is going just yet. But I loved what we got. I think it has some huge implications for the past, present, and future of the MCU. Because, time works in mysterious ways. So I think there's a lot to talk about and unpack. But it is one of those things in the back of my mind. I have to remember. It's just going to end up with Loki back in that same spot when he picked up the tesseract. It's for the most part, it's going to be one of those things where if you didn't watch the show, it's fine. You'll still understand it if you only watch the movies. But I think now with all of these shows, you can really see they are planting the seeds for some amazing stuff. And it's just this has some big implications for sure. And Loki is
somebody who doesn't really have a place to get back to because he died.
Yeah, indeed. So let's start with Loki himself, right? He gets brought to the Time Variance Authority. I loved the joke where he's all just like this is stupid. I am Loki, God of mischief, all of that stuff, and he sees that one dude get zapped out of existence because he didn't have his ticket that they made him get at the start. And I was just
deli ticket.
And he's just like, oh God, I better have my ticket. Here it is. I have it. Don't shoot me.
You get a half pound of pastrami and a court ticket to death.
Right. Yeah. I thought that was wonderful. But yeah, we're introduced to the Time Variant Authority, and they play this video. Melissa, what did you think of this little like cartoon video where let's all go to the lobby, right? Like that whole thing.
Yeah, I love how much it harkens back to informational animation of the mid-century, how much it feels like Mr. DNA from Jurassic Park.
Right.
Yeah, and how much it just like very casually cracks open the sort of cosmic sense of Marvel history.
Yeah. This is like the first thing that I was just like, oh shit, there's some stuff to unpack with this thing.
Yeah.
Because they talk about the timekeepers. I don't really know exactly who they are. Is that the Living Tribunal? I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? Or is it someone new? Does it really matter? Do they even exist? Yeah. I don't know.
Right. They're a myth.
Yeah.
They're like Betty Crocker. Like they're just an invented corporate figurehead. There is no Betty Crocker.
Yes, the myth of Betty Crocker. Betty Crocker in the MCU explained. But they make mention of this like cosmic war that I think is really neat. And I was just like, I want to see that. Show me that war.
Yeah.
Which we might still get, Melissa. Here's what I'm thinking. I think the war that they're talking about in that like informational video is Secret Wars, potentially. That it is this like cosmic being who plucked all of these different beings and stuff from different universes and timelines and had them fight to then see who gets the one true timeline. Here, that could be one explanation, but we also know that time is all kind of happening at once, right? It's not just a straight line like we know it, but it's all happening at once, which means a lot of these TV shows, maybe even some of this next series of movies, is building up to what will be Secret Wars, and even though it's like chronologically, that's we see it down the road. This could be the thing that took place at back then that then inspired the time variance, because time travel is a big weird mess. So that could be neat if they do something like that. Like I said, we're not going to see all of that in this show and all of that stuff, but it's neat to think about that. Like that stuff could be out there. So
yeah, we're getting the Eternals in just a matter of months. So I imagine that could help fill us in on this too.
Exactly, because they just with this whole idea of like a big like cyclical nature thing. What if the Eternals are the gods that are overseeing that the cycle, or not that the cycle continues to be that cycle, but they've just lived in existence where they knew that like that's what would happen, that things would just be this big cycle, but then maybe things are changing, because they also do mention that, hey, once these variants step off into their own universe and timeline, they said the magic words. They said multiverse and they said madness. And I was just like, oh,
what a joy.
Here we go. What a joy indeed.
They know what treats to give us, and it's those.
For sure.
Word nightmare was in this. That was promising. Could be the nightmare.
Yeah, there's a whole nightmare department, some dream variant authority. I don't know what they would be called, but yeah, just the fact that exists. It's like, show me how that works. I want to know all of it.
Right. I could spend 6 hours. I'm happy to spend 6 hours with Loki. I could also spend 6 hours with Mobius. I could spend 6 hours with Eugene Cordero there at his little desk, where he's lived his entire life and he does not know what a fish is.
Good God.
I can't never having seen a fish, but the fact that like that information has never been important enough for this guy to know. He knows 1,000 other things.
They know aliens and gods and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, he's just never had or caught or never needed to know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So how are you thinking this ties into Multiverse of Madness then with Doctor Strange?
Ooh, well, we've got the word Nexus in here too. This is just a keyword hunt. I feel like I'm playing a word search with every new Marvel property that comes out. Yeah, there are Nexus level events when things branch off like this. Wanda is a Nexus level being. Doctor Strange maybe also, or he's like below that. Maybe he's not quite at Nexus level yet. But yeah, I think we're going to get just more and more breaking. Just stuff's gonna break. WandaVision, this, Spider-Man, just cracks. Yeah. So many cracks across the world. Don't know if Shang-Chi's gonna be involved in this. That may be no further damage done to the time and space timeline as it is.
Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I think with Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, it is that these shows are introducing the concepts of the multiverse. Maybe this one is helping to explain some of those rules so that when we get to the movie, we don't really need the big full-on explanation of all of this stuff. And it's like, hey, if like they might give you the quick and dirty version, right? They might have what's her name? Tilda Swinton there being like, well, if you take this time stone and do that, like it works like that. But if you want the full
now
thing,
she's an animated
Loki.
clock woman.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, if you want the big, long, full explanation on how this works in detail, go watch the Loki show. It might be in that thing. So I think that's good. But I think Wanda, I think Scarlet Witch, her chaos magic got its name because she is this Nexus being. It is something that causes chaos. It is something that the timekeepers or who the TVA can't reset. Just something to think about, because if she is potentially a little bit of spoilers here for WandaVision, just FYI, so you might want to skip ahead like 30 seconds. If she is potentially looking for a way to get her kids back, she could pull them from another timeline and have them stay there. And if that's something that the TVA can't really control or like a reset, like how does that further splinter and shatter this one timeline that is there? Could be neat.
Yeah.
We put a lot of hard work into the shows that we make, and yes, we make multiple different shows here at the Whatnauts, and we'd love it if you would check them all out. You can find out more information on our websites at thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. When you type in the Whatnauts, all of our shows will pop up right there. Just don't forget to give us a nice rating and review if you like the shows. If you want to support what we do here at The Whatnauts, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is the best place to do that. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. You can get all kinds of exclusive content at our $3 tier, and you can get a shout out and thank you on all of our shows at the $5 tier. You can support us on Twitch by subscribing to our channel at twitch.tv/thewhatnauts, and we would love to have you all join us for our live streams and talk with us in the chat. And lastly, we have merch. If you want to grab yourself a shirt or a sweatshirt or a mug or something else, head over to thewhatnauts.com/store to pick up some merch today.
Yeah, and that sets us up for perhaps a similar thing to happen in Loki. It's so heartbreaking to watch his mom die, and I'd forgotten all about the fact that was like he was partially accountable for that. Like he kind of led the bad guys to where they could find her, and that was something very important to the main Loki that we've known. And it's interesting to see how it's going to impact this Loki. Is he also going to go out there like, there's got to be one timeline where my mom's alive, right? Can I go find it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I just bring mom with me? Mom and me live in this big office building.
Yeah, because you have to
bring your mother to work
in mind this is the Loki from 2012. This is the Loki from after Avengers 1. So he's still thinking he's a bad guy, right? And then he sees all of this stuff, and there's the scene where he starts kind of laughing at first, but then just immediately it's like, oh, this guy is crushed. Like, this guy is just defeated. Like, grand purpose deflated.
Right, yeah, like you've just left this big attempted takeover of New York City. It doesn't work. And you think, okay, well, this is just one obstacle in my path. I'm going to be the king of space. No, you die 8 years later. All Asgard's dead, and your mom is dead, and your dad is dead. But he did say he liked you before he died. And your brother's alive, and your brother likes you, but he ain't in great shape either. Like, everything Loki thinks he's going to be, and to know that that's like, this not only has happened, that was correct. That's what was supposed to happen to you. It's been written in the stars forever, Loki.
You're meant to lose.
That's your life. Yeah, I think basing this off of the 2012 Loki is a really interesting dynamic. That's going to be a fun character journey. Absolutely. And the fact that we've gotten to watch the same guy of two different character journeys, the one we've seen before and the one we're going to see now.
Yeah, and it makes you think of, like, when he gets back to that moment in the Avengers, does he remember? Do they have the, like, Men in Black, like, hey, now you had your mind wiped and you don't know all of this stuff? So he goes through that. Will it really matter? Did that timeline still continue to happen even though they pulled him out? Is he now an alternate version? I don't know. Time travel is confusing.
Another promising thing about this show for me is that Loki gets there. He can't use his magic. There's no magic anywhere, right? Like, he opens up Eugene Cordero's desk drawer and there's like a dozen random infinity stones in there. I love it. Like, who knows where these stones came from? Who brought them to the TVA? Who they were confiscated from? But there's hundreds of these things just lying around there, I guess. And the fact that Loki looks and he sees all of this tremendous power that he has had or that he's tried to get through other means, and it's all completely nullified there. It seems like he's going to come to not just cooperate with the TVA, but like maybe admire them and maybe like volunteer to work with them. Like, no, you guys are actually way more powerful than anything I've ever seen. Can we make a trade here?
Absolutely.
Can I give you, can I work for you? Can I do a work study here? And you don't take me back to my timeline where I die. Maybe there's some sort of plan they can figure out. I would love it if season 1 is them chasing down whatever this threat is. And then Loki has to be there to help. And then at the end, he's just still employed. Then it's just everyday problems that the TVA runs into that he helps with, because he's encountered a unique and mighty form of power that he has never gotten closer to.
Yeah. To me, it's when he stepped into that room. This was after he got the tesseract back from the one dude, and he's just looking around, and that hits him that all of this stuff is now powerless. The thing he asks is, "This is the most powerful thing," or he said something along the lines of like, "Wait, this is the most powerful thing in the universe, like this organization, right?" And so, in the back of my mind, you have to think. Again, this is 2012 Loki, a man that wants power. I think he's scheming of like, how do I take this over? How do I do that? Which maybe he succeeds. We don't know. But we know that he is now joining them to hunt down himself. Hunt down Loki, because Loki from another timeline, I'm assuming Lady Loki,
presumably,
is the one that is screwing everything up and killing these time variant these employees that work there and stuff. That she's been
the Minutemen.
killing them. The Minutemen, which is Good name. But then, yeah, that makes you think. The mystery is not then who. The mystery is why.
Yeah.
And I think that's really fascinating because it's especially is this a Loki who is bad? Is this a Loki who thinks that the Time Variant Authority is bad and is maybe manipulating things to like help down the road for some greater threat for Kang, for who knows what else, for the Beyonder or something, right? Like we don't know, and we have to figure out why. And I think this show will go places, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, certainly. I am excited for the journey ahead. I was pleasantly surprised that we got the DB Cooper scene already. And the fact that this is something that the Loki we've always known already did.
Yeah, it's a funny scene. I was a little let down by that, but I get it. I feel like they kind of had to put that in there to just be like, see, like, here's the crazy stuff that's gonna happen. We also know that we'll see President Loki somewhere in this show. So yeah, but like I was expecting the show to be more of that, where he is then stepping into these different timelines to assume these roles and do things like that. And I don't know if that's what we're really gonna get.
Maybe we'll get more examples of him causing mischief in Earth's history and like all of these things. Now that we get to spend this quality time with Loki, he's like, oh yeah, the Boston molasses flood, that was me.
Yeah, here is one where he becomes president. Here's one where he's an NBA star, right? Here's one where he, like, all of that's right. Like
he was in Space Jam.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's all sorts of stuff that they could show where it's like, here's an alternate timeline where this did. Like, they were in France in what, like 1592, I believe it was.
1500 something, yeah.
It was the late 1500s. There is some comic books called Marvel 1602 created by Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
Something
That's
like that would be really neat.
Ooh.
Because them being in 1602 doesn't necessarily mean it's the 1602 that we knew, right? Like this could have been an alternate 1602 where Spider-Man has the like Shakespearean like accordion thing around his neck. I don't even know what you call those. But yeah, it can go some places that I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
We need to talk about Owen Wilson.
He's
Agent
wonderful.
Mobius. Melissa, he was probably the biggest surprise for me, besides the whole, like, there was a multiversal war like that happened. But like, I have to admit, I'm not a big fan of Owen Wilson as an actor. I think he's fine for what he does. I was expecting him to be that exact same character, where he is this kind of bumbling idiot, kind of just the whole like, wow, okay, so you're Mr. Loki, huh? Mr. Big Shot, you know? And it just like that's kind of what I was expecting. I don't think I've seen him in a role like this before, and he is nailing it.
Right, like he's so, you can see the history in this man. Like, he's so weathered. You have no concept of how old he is. He could be as old as any cosmic thing we've seen in the MCU so far. Maybe he's older than Ego. We don't know. But he does have this, I find Owen Wilson very charming. And he's got like this little bit of positivity to him where like he's trying to make the most of things. And he's like holding back. You know that this is the guy who knows the worst things about the universe. And he's just trying to hold all of that at bay.
Yeah. Have you've seen the crime shows where there's like a detective who's been on the job for like 30 years and he had this one case and he couldn't solve it and it really haunted him or it ruined him or like the rest of the department then was like you failed like your methods aren't working. You just need to fall in line and do things like we say. That feels like this character, right? Like he's not necessarily a detective per se, but he feels like that kind of character, which is really interesting to see that he is trying to do something within the TVA that is not typical of what they normally do, which is maybe a variation on the theme of breaking off into its own timeline thing, right? I think his name is also something to maybe keep in mind. Of course, there is the artist by the name of Mobius, who's done some great work. But in terms of like time travel stuff, like a Mobius strip is this like figure 8 thing that folds back in on itself. So not really sure what that means yet. But just a neat like, is that your real name? I don't know. We'll see. Does this have implications?
What if he's
for something?
What if he's like a Phoenix man and he just lives and dies in a cycle? Like he gets to be 80, dies, and then he's like a baby again, and then all these agents have to report to a baby. Who
Boss
knows?
baby confirmed in the MCU.
He's great. I love the performances. This is a fun cast. I'm digging all these smaller people around the TVA who we're going to get to know. Also, before I imagine we'll start wrapping it up soon, I want to shout out the production design of the show. This looks amazing. I love these sets. Every one of these MCU shows so far has been killing it on the sets. Like I just love every place, every physical place that the characters are. And this music is fantastic. I'm digging the score a lot. I love the super eerie music and the opening credits like put together with like just the Loki text. And in a different way than what we've seen in all these trailers. I was surprised at the exact style of the flashing Loki text that we got in the opening and ending
it's
credits.
Much more mysterious than the one that they've been putting on.
Very mysterious. The hazy black and white.
To go back to what you said about the music, the song that plays at the end credits, is eerie and ominous. I was not expecting that at all, and I loved it. I was like, this is intense. This is exactly what I want. I loved it. So I'm looking forward to much more of this show. I think it's going to be a good one indeed. Final thoughts? Last things you want to say?
Great. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to come back here every week as a nice Wednesday treat.
Exactly. I am happy as well. Well, I think that about wraps us up for number 32 of the Whatnauts Reactor Corps. We will be back here each and every week for Loki, as long as Loki is still putting out new episodes and all of that stuff. So be on the lookout for that. I think we're going to continue to do it at this time at 6:30. At 6:30 p.m. In the afternoon here on Wednesdays, and then typically we would continue into our Whatnauts Wednesdays streams where we are playing video games. That's usually just going to be me, maybe playing some Fall Guys or something, or who knows what. So be on the lookout for all of that. But Melissa, where can the people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT. And listen to my other podcast, Saturday Morning Obscurities.
If you guys want to stay up to date with me, I'm at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter. If you guys want to stay up to date with all of the shows and stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, You guys can follow us on Twitter at the Whatnauts. So go like, share, subscribe, travel back in time, and subscribe to us before you just subscribed right now. We would love that. That would help us out a ton. But with that, we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.